Hey everyone, Wyatt here from Winnipeg Historical Fencing Club. So I'm looking at the second and third lessons of the use of the two-handed sword between two bucklers in the Harley manuscript. So I'm treating lessons 2 through 5 in this section as partner drills, while the other lessons in this section were solo drills. And so these 2 through 5, they have chases in the lessons. So in the additional Liddell manuscript, chases seems to be a type of lesson itself, a type of scenario in a sense. Well, in the Harleyan, I find that the context doesn't fit that as well. And so I'm treating these lessons where chase is an action rather than a lesson. So how that works is if you look at lesson 2, the first line is, his second lesson is a chase or a hawk with a quarter born in with a kocstop. So I'm treating this as that it's telling us that this is what our chase action is. It's a hawk and a quarter born in with a kocstop. So I use my hawk to try to draw out a parry, try to lure them out of a guard or something like that. And when they move, I'm gonna do my quarter with a kocstop into the opening that's created. So after that, we have a hawk born in with a chase foynn is made up with a light spryng. So we have a hawk, we have a thrust, and we have a spryng. So a lot of times our springs are single-handed thrusts, but they can also in certain contexts be a spryng of the foot. So it's not implied which is what here, but because the other section we had a kocstop, so that's an action of the foot. So I'm treating this spryng here as an action of the foot as well. So it kind of works very similar to the hawk quarter with a kocstop. So we're going to do the hawk again to kind of draw them out, and then when they move their sword out of the way to fall for the feint of the hawk, we just thrust into the opening there with a spryng, or basically a lunge. So here I'm treating the second lesson as basically instructions on how to do a chase and a chase foynn. So we're going to apply these actions into lessons 3, 4, and 5 and see how this works. I know some people do chases as just a type of lesson, and people have their own interpretations, which is awesome and stuff like that. But this is just me looking at this from a different angle, kind of just trying to have some fun with this. So let's get started looking at lesson 3. So the third lesson in this section goes, he 3 lesson is a chase with 2 hawks cleaving the elbows. So if we take it as the chase is the lesson itself rather than an action, then this lesson is just telling us 2 hawks cleaving the elbows. So that's not much to go off of. So that's one of the things where I kind of find it odd that if the chase is a lesson, it's kind of a bad lesson to just say, cleave their elbows. It doesn't give us much context. So if we take it the other way, where a chase is an action, this makes a little more sense. It kind of it fits with what I'm going here, at least for my interpretation. So I'll show it first. If we're just cleaving the elbows, there's not much to it. And then now we'll do it the way I'm playing with, where the chase is an action. So I'm going to do this action now that it tells us in lesson 2. So I'm going to start off with a hawk as a feint, drawing out a parry. I'm going to do a quarter blow with a kocstop. But what's going to change here is my opponent's going to parry this. But it's going to be a static parry. They're just going to stop the blow. There's not going to be any deflection of my sword or anything like that. It's just a hard stop of my cut. What this does is opens up a nice cut down to the arms of the elbows that my 2 hawks fall into. So I do my hawk, feint my hawk essentially, do my quarter blow with a kocstop, and then I'm going to do my 2 hawks cleaving the elbows. And yeah, let's take a look at that. So that was my interpretation of lessons 2 and 3. We're going to be kind of following that theme with looking at the chase as an action. We're also going to be looking at it as a type of lesson in a sense. So we're going to kind of play with a couple ideas in the next few videos. But we're kind of going to follow through where the first lesson is telling us to do the chase, the second lesson it gets parried, the third lesson gets parried. The fourth one is it gets parried, but there's a bit of deflection there where I'm not really in a bind or too much of a static parry, and that's we're going to fall through with what happens next there. And then in lesson 5, it gets straight up smashed out of the way. So we're kind of playing with the different lesson 2, the chase works. Lesson 3, 4, and 5, it's all kind of different parrying actions and what we follow through there. So that's kind of what I'm playing with those lessons. And just a note here, it's the fencing's probably not the cleanest. It's just me and a beginner student that were able to do these videos during COVID here. So yeah, thanks for him for helping me out with the videos. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have your own interpretations, please feel free to share. That's the fun thing with English longsword. We all have different ideas, come to different conclusions. Hard to know who's right, but as long as you can all have fun with it, and hopefully, have some new and fun ideas. And yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.